The following program contains scenes and language of a frank and explicit nature. Viewer discretion is advised. In 5, 4, 3, 2, live now.
Oh my God, I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, your buddies, even my view. Everything's the same. Like trash talking radio.com. The best in the business. Say it so much. Wrestling fans, Radio Land. Listen to Trash Talking Radio at TrashTalkingRadio.com. They're accused from 7 to 10 o'clock. Give your guys like my will. So you gentlemen guys come on. Radio show. Probably just guys. It's right to the crew driver. I'm here to tell you about talking trash. Yes, there is a bed. Tonight, you've got to listen in. It's the best around, the best in town. I'm David Seattle, the answer to the take of the werewolf. The Eagles could see with the trash talking radio or now.
This is the Vital Idol, and you're listening to Trash Talking Radio every Tuesday from 7 to 10 on TrashTalkingRadio.com. And remember this, the Vital Idol tells you it's got to be true. And when it's on the internet, it's got to be real. It's Trash Talking Radio every Tuesday from 7 to 10. I am the Top of Bob, the King of Swing, the international rock star, way above par, the host with the most. It's the Tuesday night, the Vital Idol. Classic Mike Trash, and thank you very much.
It is Trash Talking Radio. It is Tuesday night. It is the best night of the week. And here we are. Once again, once this, actually, it's what's it like outside? Is it raining? I think it's raining over here. How you doing, Doug?
I'm doing fine, except for this boot I'm wearing for my broken foot. Other than that, things are good.
Well, if you mess with me again, it'll be the other foot, too. So.
Well, that wrestling boot you put will be...
It's a dangerous business, man. I gotta admit though, and I haven't told anyone this yet at all. I was playing with my dog, not the big dog, the little dog, Winston. And I didn't even tell Christine this. So she's not listening now, so she's not gonna know this. I was playing tug of war with him. And I got up and I was walking to the bathroom and I kicked something and I tripped and I fell down and landed on my hip again. And the dog was like, he felt so bad. He was like but he was afraid of me because he was afraid he'd get in trouble. He didn't do anything wrong. I just am a klutz. And it was too embarrassing to tell anyone, so don't tell anyone. Because, that's the second time this year I've fallen now. But I got back up. So, at least it's not become I don't think so. I mean, I was already hurting in the hip, so it's not any worse than it was before. But
See, that's an okay story. I have no story for my broken foot. I just woke up one morning with pain.
You have no story.
I'm a writer, and I'd like to have a good story, but I have no good story at all.
Well, how do you know my story's real?
Well, you said in your promo, if the Vital Idol says it, it's got to be true.
Okay, I can't argue with that. You got facts to back it up, so that's that. Oh, we have a lot of stuff to talk about. When don't we have a lot of stuff to talk about, though? I seem to think we always have stuff to talk about. I'm going to get my notes up here. I'm not going to play any deaths today, but next week we'll have to talk about George Wendt because he died right before the show. That was rude of him to die right before the show starts.
He didn't check with you first to see if it was okay?
That's the thing. His people didn't talk to my people. And it makes me look bad because now everybody's got a week on me. So now I'll say it when it's old news instead of when it's brand new. So
well, you could do it tonight, post it.
Yeah, I don't know. Usually after the show, I just want to veg out. So I'll probably do it tomorrow. Actually, I might go see Final Destination, the new Final Destination movie. They have 6 Final Destinations. That's not really cool. It's not very final if there's 6 of them. But if you're into that type of movie, the last one, whew, that was that was pretty bizarre. All of them were pretty bizarre, but that last one took the cake. The movie, you know what the movie's about?
Nope.
Okay, so the first one is these high school students are going to France for a class trip, and I think there were 6 or 4 teachers and then the students. At the last second, one of the students freaked out because he saw a vision of the plane blowing up, and so he freaked out and he wanted off the plane right then and there. And while he was getting off the plane, he freaked a couple other students out, so they got off the plane too. And then the plane exploded. And like everyone was trying to figure out, did he know it was going to explode? Was he a reason it exploded? Anyway, death doesn't wait for you. If you cheat death, death comes after you, is the theme. So each person died in a strange way shortly after that, and they died in the order that they would have died on the plane. So everyone died except one girl who didn't die. She ended up in the second one, and the second one was about, was the second one I think the second one was the car accident. So a couple friends were were driving together for like a spring fling thing, and the girl that was driving had this premonition that there was going to be a car crash. So she stopped the car and pulled over and caused a lot of people to get mad because she stopped in the middle of the road, and so they couldn't get on the highway. And then a cop came over, and he was one of the people who died, but he didn't die because, they pulled over. And right as he was ready to write her a ticket up for obstructing traffic or whatever it was, that accident happened, and they all lived. And of course, that the same premise. They died one at a time. And then there was an amusement park for, I think, 3, where a ride went bad and a bunch of people died. Anyway, each one got progressively crazier. And when they killed these people, they killed it really. Some of these people got some really rough things when they died. So it was. Anyway, there's one more that we got to see, and that's 6, and that one just came out, and that's what inspired us to see the first 5. We like horror movies, so or suspense movies. So we're thinking of going out to the theater and seeing the last one. So kind of like a date night because we haven't had one of those for a while. So we're thinking of going to that tomorrow. And as long as nobody hacks into my phone, gotta check. Still not hacked into today. Man, Friday, I wake up and I'm just like feeling pretty good because I had my phone for 3 days or whatever it was, and I'm working on my listings and stuff, and I had to call somebody, and sure enough, my phone was gone again, and there was notices that I've been compromised showing up on my thing again, and Christine wasn't here, so I had nobody to call. I had no one I could speak to. I had no one I could borrow their phone from. I couldn't even call somebody to say, can you lend me your phone number? So about 2 o'clock or about 1 o'clock, I figured it out. Do you have an Alexa?
Yes.
You can call on your Alexa.
No, I didn't know.
Well, I happen to remember that because there were years ago, I don't know why, years ago, I figured that out. So I had Alexa call my different numbers. And so the first one I called was the bank because I was freaking out because they got into my account. I got notices that they broke into my account again there. They broke into my account at, hold on, I'm calling myself. Okay. Alexa, hang up. Hang up. Anyway, so I got these notices coming in, and I'm like, wow, what am I going to do? So I freaked out because I couldn't call the bank. I couldn't do any phone calls. So I got an email, a notice from the bank that they tried to break in, and I sent that email back to the bank saying, lock out all my accounts. I can't call you because my phone's been compromised again. And so they locked them out, but not because they saw the email, but because there was suspicious things going on in my account. And in the meantime, I'm like, I'm calling security at what is this thing? Didn't Alexa, hang up. It was recording whatever I was saying and sending it to me. But so the PayPal, Cash App, all those gave me notifications that they were locking people out of my account. And so I called them one at a time, and I fixed the different ones. And Cash App, I got all the money back except for the stuff that they bought crypto. They said that they won't give me money back for that, but I got the crypto in my name now. And it's losing money, so they're not very good at buying crypto. But they didn't care because they just wanted to get the crypto in their name. So they would buy the crypto, then they would try to move the crypto out of the account, and that's when they were locked out. And they did that in Cash App. They did that in PayPal. So when I couldn't call the bank because nobody was around, then when I figured out calling the bank, I talked to them and they did what they could, and I couldn't. I logged into my account and stuff, saw that my brand new Founders card, Visa, they already had compromised that brand new card. So they have $8,000 worth of charges on that card. All of it was crypto. So
now you're going to get that money back, or
yes. The bank always gives me the stuff back. It's just going to take about a week before it all clears and gets that taken care of. So once again, I don't have any money. Once again, my cards don't work because we compromised the cards. So I have no access to my money again, which is really driving me crazy because I need this to go through. I need this to stop. They're really, now they won't because I changed my username and my password, so they can't get back in my account. So now we're locked down there. I'm locked down on, and oh, by the way, I saw that I couldn't understand why a bunch of emails I had were going straight to the trash. And I was freaking out because I was like, why is this happening all of a sudden? I thought, well, I'm not going to worry about it. Well, after this was all said and done, I did a little investigating. These people are so smart. When they break into your email account, the first thing they do is take any notices like your bank, and they code that to go to trash. And then they code, because most people don't look at their stuff that goes straight to the junk bin. I do. I look at it because I have acting gigs, and I got to make sure that I'm getting them. Well, anyway, they did that to my credit card. They did that to my PayPal, to my Amazon, to my Cash App. All that stuff went straight to the trash, and I couldn't understand why it was doing that. And I thought it was weird that they would do that. Anyway, I did a little investigating last night, and I noticed in the rules they set up rules for all of those things to go straight to the trash, so I wouldn't see it, so I wouldn't be suspicious. And plus, I didn't have a phone, so I was really getting mad at that. Fortunately, because I'm not a total idiot, I figured out what was going on, and I got rid of all those rules because I didn't really care to have that interrupting me, interrupting my services and stuff. So things got to get back to normal soon. I'm really flustered by all this crap that I keep running into. So I don't know. I don't know why I understand why, because they're all idiots and they're all criminals, but I'm an easy person because they got my information. I don't know if it was the same people or not. This time it was Texas. I guess last time it was Texas too. So I don't know. It just is a shame that people are out there trying to take your money. So I don't know. I just don't know. It's such a frustrating thing to have to deal with. And now I've dealt with it twice in a month. Anyway, enough of that. Let's talk about good stuff. Pete Rose. Did you hear about this? Pete Rose, Shoeless Joe Jackson.
Yep, they've been taken off the list.
The sad thing about this is that Pete Rose was still alive. They should have just given it to him then. And Shoeless Joe Jackson, for him to not be on that, in that Hall of Fame, it's just really, not Hall of Fame. He was in the banned list, so that they are now eligible for the Hall of Fame. Shoeless Joe Jackson.
We're not in yet.
Yeah, but Shoeless Joe Jackson. I mean, how long ago did he die? He died a long time ago, didn't he?
A long time ago.
I just think that there's no reason that he should not have been in it before. It's a shame that Pete Rose didn't live to see that either, because he was a top guy. There's no reason I realized he was betting on, I realized the reason, but I just think that since he wasn't in it, he wasn't betting on it while he was in it, was he?
Yes.
Oh, he was.
That is why he was winning.
He still should have been allowed in, because you can't deny that he was one of the best ever. I don't know. And plus he was in wrestling. He was in pro wrestling. What's that? Oh, really? Oh, he was in wrestling through the 90s into the 2000s. He was up against Kane all the time. He would like insult Kane, and then Kane would pile drive him. It was like happening all the time for a regular, like at WrestleManias. He would just constantly, get in trouble from Kane, and Kane would pile drive him. It was just funny. But I'm glad to see that he's going to get, he's at least available, allowed to be put in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Because regardless of whether or not he bet on things, he didn't bet on things when he was playing.
When he was a manager.
Yeah, well, he's going to get it for being a player rather than a manager.
Yes.
So,
the big deal here in Cincinnati.
Yeah. Well, it's the guy. You can't take away what he actually did achieve.
Most hits.
Yeah, that's just to me, it was just wrong to take him off that. But then again, I'm not a baseball fan, so I probably see things differently. I went to a couple baseball games, pro baseball games, when I was in college, and I went with our mutual friend. Do you remember? Well, you don't remember. You didn't know I went. Rob took me to a couple games. And that's the only time. Well, no, that's not the only time, but that was early in I was trying to figure out the hype of the whole thing. And actually, not being a baseball fan, I still had a good time. And it was awesome. And when I worked at the place that I worked at for 30 years, they took us to those games. They took us to football games, baseball games, concerts. I got to see Billy Joel 5 times. That was one of the things I loved about that job, and I really missed that job because of those perks. But that was kind of fun. So anyway, that was the first thing, was that I saw that he was now, or they were now, going to be eligible to be in there. Also, I mentioned this last week or the week before, one of the past couple of weeks. Gerard Depardieu was arrested, or was let me say, he was accused of sexual assault and given he was actually convicted of sexual assault and given an 18-month suspended sentence for sexual assault. So, for what it's worth, whether he did it or not, I guess he did it, according to and he was it said the 76-year-old, one of the most prominent figures in French cinema for decades, must also pay the accusers a total of 29,040 euros, which is about $32,350 in fines, as the court ordered that his name be listed on the National Sex Offender database. So, I just, I hope that he really did do it, if he was being charged that.
Having your name on that list is very problematic.
Yes.
Did you know that many churches do not allow you to come to church if you're on that list?
Huh. I didn't know that. That's really interesting. So what if they don't believe that you can be
rehabilitated?
Yeah.
No, it's legal. It's liability.
Oh, okay. All right.
If one of them would do something in the church would be sued.
Huh. Okay. Well, I guess I understand that. All right. I guess I could.
It really limits your ability to function in society.
Well, at 76.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's independently wealthy, and he can have other people do his errands for him.
Right. But I wouldn't want to have that attached to my name. I don't care what age I am. Pope Leo the 14th signs a baseball for a White Sox fan. That was kind of cool. And that'll probably be worth something, even though he probably never played for him, I'm guessing.
No, he was just a super fan.
The only person he played for was God.
That's right.
So that's kind of cool, though. That's kind of cool. So that's that really is kind of neat little thing. Let's see here. Emily Dickinson said, "We turn not older with years, but newer every day." I just saw that and thought that was kind of cool. Nice little thing. Let me see what's next. Birthdays. We don't have that many of them, and you should know most of these. First one. I'm going to do them out of order because I know that there are some that are you probably don't know, and I want to save the ones that you do know. First one, let's try Megan Fox.
I don't know that,
Hold on.
but I can't tell you how old she is.
She's not that. She's 39. For some reason, I thought she was older than that because I've heard her name so often. Tori Spelling.
Yeah.
Tori Spelling was Aaron Spelling, the producer, his daughter. She was on 90210 and all those other things. She's actually older than I thought she was, but then when I think about she was on 90210, that would explain it. She's 52. You probably don't know who he is, but I'm going to say it anyway. Michael Che. He's Saturday Night Live, and he's one of the news guys on Saturday Night Live. I like him. He's really funny. He is 42. So those are the ones I think you don't know. The next ones I think you do know. Tracy Gold. She was on not Facts of Life. She was on Growing Pains. No, the other one. Growing Pains was the one with Michael J. Fox. She was Michael J. Fox's sister on there.
No, don't know.
Okay, she is 56. The next one I don't know. Yeah. Well, I didn't know if you'd know any of these or not, but I know them, so I put them on the list and figured they deserve some recognition on this show. I don't know if you know this other person here, but you're going to know the last two. Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
He is always the villain.
I know exactly who he is now.
Yeah, he's always the villain. I saw him as a good guy too once, but want to take a guess?
55.
He is 81.
81.
To me, when I saw that, I'm like, what? Because he's been the villain in everything, just about everything I've ever seen him in. He was a good guy in one of the things I saw, but talk about being stereotyped. And I know you probably know Grace Jones.
Grace Jones.
She
was in something I saw.
She was in a lot of weird stuff.
I'm trying to think what I know of her. I can't think.
She was on MTV for a while, but she did do a lot of acting.
Yeah, I watched sci-fi, and she was definitely one of the sci-fi things I saw. But can't remember what it was.
Any idea?
She's got it by now. She's got to be in her 50s.
77.
77. Wow.
Yeah, I was surprised. I didn't realize she was that much older than us. Deborah Winger. I forgot about that one. Did I say her?
No.
Okay. I didn't remember if I said her or not. Okay. She, you have two more. Deborah Winger and this other one. She was in a lot of good stuff. Use this picture to decide which one, her age.
Yeah, she's got to be in her 70s.
She has got to be 70. So I'll give you a point for that. And last but not least, James Bond, one of the James Bonds.
One of the Jameses.
Pierce Brosnan,
Oh, he's got to be in his late 80s.
72. I was thinking he was younger than that even, but I guess he's been around for a while. So, yeah, 72. So, you won 1 point.
It's better than last week.
Yeah, that's true. Hey,
You know, you got a co-host that doesn't watch movies and doesn't watch TV.
I know, so that works for me. That's how we pay you. We pay you on points.
I don't get paid very often.
I like that. Okay. All right, next. Let's see here. Go back to the other side. Okay. Oh. So I don't know if I mentioned this last year. I may have mentioned this last year. I may have mentioned this last week. So if I mentioned this last week, I apologize, but I don't remember if I did or not. So HBO became HBO Max, which became Max.
And now they're back to HBO.
Now they're back to HBO Max. HBO Max. That's a weird thing. They're just...
Well, the marketing department didn't do a good job.
Well, I think that HBO and Cinemax, when you look at those two names, the name that stands out is HBO. I mean, as far as I remember, HBO was the first streaming company, or the first company to do things like have their own production company and have their own service and all that stuff and be commercial free. So I don't know why they changed to Max, because I never thought of Cinemax or Max as the strongest brand. I thought HBO was the strongest brand, so I thought it was really strange that they would do that. But yeah, they fixed it. At least they're going to be HBO Max again. So, and I've always got, of all the streaming services, the one I wanted was HBO. So I mean, that's where you got Sopranos and all the good stuff was on HBO. So I think they're fixing their mistake. So, all right, so that one's done. Let me cancel this one. Come on. Well, let me do it. Deborah Winger's stuck in there. Or not Deborah Winger, whoever that was that I was saying. Okay. Then we got... I was talking about Michael Che. So the other thing that's kind of interesting is that... let's see, where do I do this? Where... So, Saturday Night Live. I actually think they've got a strong cast. They just did their final show for the year, and they had on Scarlett Johansson, which is funny because Scarlett Johansson's husband is Michael Che's partner on Saturday Night Live on the news desk, Colin Jost. And they used to always joke about his wife, and I kept thinking, there's no way he's married to her. He's married to her. So I really found I felt kind of stupid that he is really married to her. But anyway, she was the host, and it was a good show, and she definitely made the show look good. I mean, they got a strong cast. I really love the cast they have now. This is the first cast in years that has been as good as that. So I found that interesting that they... so what was my point? Okay, let me think here. Saturday Night Live changed his name in 1972. Okay, SNL. What was my point of this? Actually, it was kind of funny because they put that show on as a way to compete with other late night shows, and it took a life of its own. It had a good cast in the beginning with I can't think of their names now, Chevy Chase and all them guys. But I'll tell you, the cast really has been good, and then it went really sour for a couple of years. And I didn't watch the early years, but I started to watch them because I have Peacock. Start to watch, and it's really different now versus the way they did things then, because they would have a host, and then they would have a band, and they would have another band. In the early days, they would actually have more than one band, and they'd have skits, but they really did it a lot different than they do now. The people they have on now, though, I think are so much better than years. For years, they've not been that good, and they don't have any name talent per se. So they just really, and actually, there's a something on Peacock that's really good. It's 50 years of SNL. It's a special. It's a three episode documentary, and it talks about what you had to do to get on HBO. It shows some of the auditions that some of the people did, and it talks to some of the people that were on the show, like Dana Carvey and all that. It's just really cool to see the evolution of that show, and I think the show's really good now. So if you haven't seen it, I suggest taking a look at it now, because the cast is better than it's been ever. So as far as I'm concerned. It says here the network recruited Lorne Michaels had left the show after a couple seasons, and then was brought back in around 85-ish or so to replace whoever replaced him, and he's been the guy ever since. So it's interesting to watch the evolution of that show. It says through the 70s, SNL grew into a cultural juggernaut that Michaels had imagined, with high ratings and critical approval, with A-list hosts like Richard Pryor, Steve Martin, and Jodie Foster. And then after the 5th season, Michaels left the show, and the show struggled in his absence. He was enamored by Eddie Murphy, who became the breakout star in his 4 years as a cast member. And a lot of the people that were on Saturday Night Live went on with big careers. And it says here that impressed by how Dennis Miller and John Lovitz had outshone the Hollywood co-stars, the preference would be to hold for decades to follow with some of the biggest stars like Mike Myers, Chris Farley, Chris Rock, Adam Sandler, Will Ferrell, Tina Fey, Kristen Wiig, Leslie Jones, and Kate McKinnon coming from those worlds. Then, of course, we had the cowbell skit that was adding to, it says, a large part of the show's appeal is the live broadcast, adding unpredictability, causing occasional controversy. The live element also makes for a frantic production schedule with writers and cast members. And they actually, just when you think that they actually made mistakes and stuff like that, a lot of the stuff that they did was actually scripted to be looking like it was mistakes. And I found that kind of interesting, too. The alumni have had spin-offs on their show for shows and stuff like that. So I just really think that it's come a long way, and I really am happy with the way that they have turned out in the years. That, you know, considering that show's 50 years old now. What show has been 50 years, you know? So
I used to watch it in the beginning, but then I lost track of it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it in the beginning, and I watched it kind of in the 90s a little bit, and then lost track of it, and then I started watching it recently and said, hey, these guys are really good. Some of the and actually got belly laughs. When I get belly laughs, you know that it's got to be pretty good. So, or at least in my eyes it is. Anyway, I just kind of thought I wanted to give Saturday Night Live a kudos for what they've put out and how they've grown and turned into something bigger than they ever imagined. Who would have thought they'd still be around 50 years later? Okay, Leo's first Mass had an estimated 200,000 onlookers. They flocked to the Vatican yesterday. Well, not yesterday, whenever this was written. Hey, Ann, how you doing? Good to see you. They flocked to the Vatican yesterday to hear the newly installed Pope preside over his first Mass. The Pontiff's first homily called for
Homily.
Homily? What is a homily?
It's a song.
Okay. His first homily called for unity and openness from the church and its nearly 1.4 members. Wow, 1.4 million members. I never. No, not million. 1.4 billion members.
Really? Yes.
Wow. That's a couple people.
More than a flock.
Yeah. 69-year-old became the first U.S. citizen to become Pope after being selected to succeed Pope Francis earlier this month. While popes often oversee Sunday service and other private and public ceremonies, Pope Leo's inaugural Mass was attended by a number of world dignitaries, including J.D. Vance, Zelensky was there, and Prince Edward was there. He was presented with two symbolic items. The first one is a fisherman's ring honoring St. Peter and reflecting the call to evangelism. The second is a pallium. Is that what it is? Is that how it's said? Pallium, a strip of lamb's wool representing the role of a shepherd of the church flock. And that sounds like a pretty good initiation. So
he emphasized and affirmed the family unit as a man and a woman, and marriage is between a man and a woman.
Okay.
So that was a blow to the gay community.
Well, I mean, you got to expect that from people, especially the older people that are not as open as the younger people. And I mean, wow! Look at the pictures, though. Look at these people. There were a lot of people there. Stop it! I'm not gonna subscribe. Forget it. That's just a lot of people there. Oh, look at that. Wow. What is the red stuff on there? Oh, that's their seats.
They're the seats. Yes.
I was thinking they were wearing backpacks or something.
They are the leaders of the church.
Okay. I thought they were wearing backpacks. I didn't realize it was their shirt or their seat. Yeah. Wow. Lots of people. Okay. So there's a new pitch going on in Hollywood for a new show. And I think it's kind of an interesting show, but I don't really think that it's got great taste. Homeland Security considering pitch for citizen reality show. Citizenship. The Department of Homeland Security is considering a reality show, reality TV pitch from a Duck Dynasty producer who would focus on citizenship. The show, called The American, would put immigrants through a series of challenges as they compete for U.S. citizenship. It's being pitched by reality TV veteran Rob Warsoff, as he confirmed on his Facebook Friday. It's not mean-spirited. Instead, the American is a celebration of what it means to be, well, American. At a time when the morale is at an all-time low, he says in a statement, and it says here that I don't know. We just think that would be a good idea for a show.
I don't think that's a good idea.
I don't think it's a good idea either. I just think I don't know. It kind of makes us seem like we're all TV and not people. It's like it's all show, and I don't know. I just don't know. So, okay. The next story is really kind of cool because it's about these guys right here. They now have a place. Now, because PBS had lost a lot of funding, they now have a chance to keep going. They have a deal with, here we go, Netflix. So Netflix saved, it says Sesame Street saved, they inked a new deal with Netflix. So episodes will still be on PBS, debuting the same day as on Netflix. But then, of course, with Netflix, you can watch it anytime you want. Whereas if you were going to PBS, you would have to watch it when it was on or tape it. So we know that they're not going anywhere. It's nice to know that Sesame Street's still going to be there. I just found it interesting that Netflix is looking for, Netflix has come to, originally when Netflix started, do you remember where they started? What they started as?
No.
They had machines that you would go to and you would rent a movie. And then you would come back and drop the DVD back off in the machine. And
yes.
That's what Netflix was. And then they decided to try this streaming thing. And I had it in the early days. Let me tell you something. It was not so good in the early days because you didn't have the bandwidth to play your movies. So over the years, of course, the internet got stronger and bigger and better, and it became such a big thing that Netflix became huge. And it originally they were losing money like everybody else does at this, but they're the first to actually make money, and now they're probably they are the biggest streamer. So nobody has made the kind of money that they're making, but they had to invest so much money to get to that point. And when I remember that they had all the Star Wars movies, and back, probably a dozen or so years ago, Disney decided they wanted to take all the Star Wars movies, so that if you wanted to watch Star Wars, you had to come to Disney, because they already owned the rights. They were just they sold the streaming rights to Netflix for a period of time. They made it so that they said, look, we're going to take it all away from you. There was a big panic in Netflix because that was where everybody would go to see your streaming of. Actually, it wasn't even that long ago, because I think 2018 or something like that, they lost their rights to the stuff. So, but they were afraid they were going to go out of business. And for the next couple of years, they invested so much money in their own productions and finding new content, and they still were able to save their streaming and make it so that they were the only ones that are making money on streaming, on that kind of streaming. Because even Peacock isn't really making money on their streaming yet. And who's the other one? Max might be making money now, but I know that Disney's not making money streaming. And they're getting there. You've got to have so many subscriptions that it'll actually make you money. All right, next. I was mentioning. I didn't mention. I think we were off the air when I mentioned the Final Destination. Final Destination opened to a shattering 51 million in the U.S. It says in their third consecutive win, Warner Brothers is doing great business at the box office, thanks to New Line's critically acclaimed Final Destination Bloodlines. The supernatural thriller topped the weekend with the franchise best domestic opening of 51 million, ahead of expectations. Overseas, it earned 51 million for a global of 102 million. That's more than enough to successfully revive the long-dormant franchise that was first introduced to audiences a quarter of a century ago. The last installment, Final Destination 5, was released in 2011, and it opened at 18 million, not adjusted for inflation. So it's good to see that movie franchise is going to still continue. It actually did really well. That's a pretty good number for that. 102 million is awesome, and so I will probably go to see that this weekend. Well, if I get my money back, I'd like to get my money first. Let's see here. Oh, the Hunger Games. Do you remember? Did you see any of those?
Yes, I saw that.
Well, they have a new one coming out called Sunrise on the Reaping. And since Donald Sutherland died, he won't be back. But Ralph Fiennes will be playing the part of the president. So that'll be interesting to see. I like him. He's a cool guy. I've seen him in a couple other things. The Hunger Games found its President Snow. It says it's Conclave star Ralph Fiennes will play the ruthless Panem dictator in director Francis Lawrence's forthcoming film franchise. And it says it has Joseph Zeta, Whitney Peake, McKenna Grace, Jesse Plemons, and Kelvin Harrison. So it'll be interesting to see where they're going to go next on that movie franchise. I thought that was pretty much wrapped up, but apparently it still lives. So the first couple I think were okay, but I think they got kind of ridiculous the last couple. All right. Do you watch any of the medical shows?
No.
Okay. They made a list of the top medical shows of all time, and I don't really agree with it, but they said the top 10 best medical shows of all time. I do agree with some of it. HBO did one called Getting On. I never heard of it, so I can't really criticize that. Grey's Anatomy is still going on. It's been 20? Yeah, it's been 20 years. That's still going on. That's pretty good. Then we got Scrubs. I love that show. That was an awesome show. That went on for 9 years. This Is Going to Hurt, which is a BBC show, so I never saw that one either. House, I never watched that, so I don't know.
I watched all the Houses. I love House.
That was a good show? Okay. I might have to watch that and see.
He plays the most arrogant, just absolutely hateful person, but he's a genius.
Oh, okay.
He
All right.
has no bedside manner whatsoever.
Okay. I might have to check it out. That's worth your while watching. They had MASH. Now, I guarantee that was a good one.
That was a good one.
That was a great one. I can't believe that's only number 5, but it's number 5. Then The Kick, or The Nick. The Nick.
Never heard of it.
I never heard of it either. That was on Cinemax. Then we got St. Elsewhere. I remember that show, but I never watched it.
I remember it, but didn't watch it either.
Yeah. So I can't say too much about that. Then there was The Kingdom, which was a Denmark show, or Denmark radio. I don't know what that means. Viaplay, Mumbai, 94, 97, and 2002. I don't know anything about it. And they put that up pretty high, too. They put that up in number 2, which I can't understand. And ER they put as number 1. See, now, they didn't talk about The Pit, which is a really good show. And they didn't talk about Chicago Med. Chicago Med's pretty good. I would put that up against any of the ones that were on there. But The Pit, I think, is going to be the next real big one. That's on HBO. So I don't know why they don't have that one up there. But Christine joined us. I can't talk about her now because she's here. I know that she watches these too, and she'll be happy to know that her show is on here. The one that she was talking about was she loves where's that? Where's that? Where is it? Oh man, they put it way up here, I guess. Oh, Grey's Anatomy's right there. So she's the one that got me to be interested in that show. I haven't watched it yet, but I've watched one episode of it, and I liked it. I just was wrapped up in other things at the time. And actually, this lady here, she was also on, they had a fire department show that was playing at the same time that used her, because they used their hospital for the places they would take it to. And I liked that show. It was based out of Seattle or something like that. I liked the show a lot, but like I said, I only watched one of their shows of anatomy. So that was kind of cool. All right. Next thing. So I got some Diddy news.
My friend Diddy.
Yeah, we got I hear these different things on the news, and I really hope that the stuff I heard is not true. One thing I heard is that Trump is going to give him a pardon if he gets convicted. And to me, that's really the worst thing in the world to do with a guy that's that vicious of a person. I don't know. I just think that it's the wrong thing to do, and I hope that that's not true. But it was that's exactly what the article said, was that he was planning on pardoning him. Okay, here we go. There we go. Sean Diddy Combs trial. 3 witnesses take the stand. They confirm the details from the ex's Cassie Ventura's testimony. I mean, you got the video footage of that guy beating the living daylights out of her in front of that freaking elevator. I don't think you need anything else, but
I don't think you need anything else either. His personal assistant today backed up her story. I believe.
Yeah, you're right. And also it says here that singer Dawn Richards says that Sean Combs threatened her with death after she saw him assault Cassie. So I don't know. The guy he from everyone that's talked about it, male and female, he didn't have a preference. He just wanted to dominate everybody. And I just can't understand why anybody would even. There's just no doubt in my mind. Now, I'm obviously not a fan of Diddy to begin with, that he's guilty. And he needs to go away for a long time. I don't know. And then, of course, this story here, Diddy's team is reportedly working toward a presidential pardon from Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, on this one article that I don't have, said that he was going to pardon him. And I thought, why? Why would you do that? I mean, first off, you're president. And most people don't like him anyway. Even people that voted for him didn't like him necessarily. Why would you do something that controversial? Why can't you just shut up and keep your mouth shut and just be a president? And, you know, I just don't understand.
Well, even his mega followers would be upset with that one.
Yeah, but it's weird. It's just this time, and the more we find out about him, the less I like him, and I didn't like him before. So I don't know. It just is weird. And I guess he has daughters too. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
I believe I read somewhere that Combs has daughters. I can't imagine. I might be wrong about that, but I kind of think that let me see. Let's find out. Let's look at Wikipedia and find out if I'm right. For some reason, I believe he has daughters. All right, let's see. Where do I, oh, there we go. I want to know if I'm right about that. I seem to remember reading that he did. All right, here we go. Oh, look, they got a section called Diddy Parties. Oh, let's see, where's kids? Children. He has 7 children.
Wow.
And obviously it doesn't say whether they're male or female because of whatever reason. Let's look here and see if it says. I just think that sometimes that catches up to you. And this guy deserves whatever he gets because, man. Okay, so he has...
And a daughter?
Had a daughter named, born to Sarah. Combs was in an 11-year relationship with Cassie. Yep, here's Combs' 7th child was born on 2022. That's a daughter. What about the other children, though? It says here 5 months before the birth of his twins. Wait a minute. Maybe they set it up here. Started up here. He raised and adopted Quincy, Porter's son from a previous marriage or a previous relationship. Together they had a son, Christian, and twin daughters in 2006. Yeah, that would make them 19. So yeah, he does have 2 daughters. Well, he has 3 daughters if that other one says too. So, geez. I mean, I don't want to see anybody go to jail because of their kids, but you know, because of them having kids and they won't see their father. But man, this guy's a monster, and he better have a really good excuse for what he did. You know, she tripped, and I was trying to help her up, and I accidentally hit her again. I don't know. Crazy. Anyway, that's the end of my Sean Diddy stuff. Oh, wait, did I do this one? Did I do the one about the, yeah, I did the one about, yeah, right, okay, yeah, I did do that one. Okay, delete that one. Okay. And from one assault guy to another. Uh-oh. Did I hit the button? I hope I didn't. Please say I didn't. Okay, there we go. Harvey Weinstein's in the news again. There we go. Harvey Weinstein accuser Jessica Mann testifies in court, says he was Jekyll and Hyde. The man says Mann, who is the last accuser to testify in the retrial, claims Weinstein raped her in a Manhattan hotel room in 2013. Jessica Mann, the third accuser, took the stand Monday, described how he would turn into a monster during the relationship that at one point was consensual. I referred to him as Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, describing how she felt would validate her beauty and acting career. Then he would turn when it came to sexual relations. The word no specifically was a trigger to him. Mann, an aspiring actress, testified that she met him in 2013 at a party in Hollywood and had gone with him to Book Soup, where he bought industry-related materials to her. She was later invited by him up to his hotel room, where he said he wanted to give Mann and her friend a script for Vampire Academy. After calling Mann into the bedroom, he performed unwanted oral sex on her. After that incident, Mann described as being a battle. Mann said that she embarked on a relationship with him. She cried on the stand. She took long pauses when asked by the ADA why she chose to start a consensual relationship after that incident. I just decided to have a relationship with him. I'm sorry if that's a bad decision. I just did. I also wanted to buy time because I really didn't know how to handle it. I just thought it would take away the pain. Maybe the mixed relationships I had about the oral sex incident was because I wasn't in a relationship, and if I was in a relationship, it would feel different. So I don't know. In that case, it's not as strong as some of the other cases, I think, that are against him. So I don't know. I think there are women that would take advantage of that situation to try to push their career further. So I don't want to judge her. There's enough people to judge him, to judge on him, that I don't think her thing would help or hurt him in my eyes. But just my opinion.
I think he has enough. Well, he's paying the ultimate price anyhow because he's not going to last so much longer.
Right.
So.
He's going to die, and I don't think there's going to be too many people crying for him. Then Trump is calling for a major investigation into Springsteen, Beyonce appearances at Kamala Harris rallies. Why? It doesn't matter now, does it?
Well, now Trump takes things personal. He wants revenge.
Yeah, see, I think to me, it's unimportant. I mean, I'm assuming they aren't allowed to pay them. Is that the case?
I'm not sure what the rationale is, but all I know is that Springsteen said something nasty about him when he was overseas, and and Trump called Springsteen some names. Not very presidential in my book.
That's true, but he's not really a president. He's more of a business guy. I think it's really just childish to go after each other like that. I think that they've both got better things to do, And it's kind of like Hollywood doesn't like Trump. You know, we hear it all the time. There are a lot of people in Hollywood that do not like Trump, and you know, they're never going to like Trump. That's just it. You know, I just think it's crazy. Let's stick to the facts and not your personal.
I just wish you'd be president. Quit caring about what people say.
That's what I'm saying. There's a point that it's stupid after a certain point. I understand he is the king at this point. You know, and by the way, I don't think I have it in my notes here, but they started proceedings to have him impeached.
Well, yes.
I don't know how.
It won't go anywhere but this. So.
But you know, once again, they keep dragging him instead of letting him do his work. They keep dragging him into these little things that take away. I mean, whether you like him or not, you have to admit he's doing stuff. And there's a lot of things that they don't like that he's doing, but he's doing stuff. And he's done more stuff in how many months has it been? What are we in? We're in May?
4 or 5 months.
Yeah, let's say 4 months. He's done more in 4 months than some presidents have done their whole term, or even both terms if they were in double termers. I mean, those guys, I don't know. I don't agree with a lot of stuff that he does, but at least he's getting things done. And I just think that it's time to let him do his work and stop the childish stuff that we're having to go through. I just think that's ridiculous. That, you know, once.
I mean, quite frankly, who cares what Springsteen does?
Yeah, I don't care. I never voted based on anybody. I never voted on someone because of a musician or an actor. I just think that's ridiculous. But I don't know. It just seems pointless to do this. And I know there are people that would care about what they think. I'm not like that. And it's a shame that so many people are. So that's my opinion of that. Do you have any entertainment stuff that you have on your list?
No entertainment stuff.
Okay. We'll do the music, the break in the band next, and then we'll do your stuff. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right, we decided to do breaking the band right before the show.
Well, I've been with my grandson for 2 days, so
that's good.
Yeah.
And so we got the person we're doing is Prince, and I kind of like that choice because nobody hates Prince. You're either indifferent or you like Prince, because Prince was kind of really cool because he was the first guy to do diversity in a band. He actually had all colors. He had all sexes. I don't know if he had any transgender, but I would imagine there's probably a couple in there somewhere. Because you didn't know he had, but he had very talented musicians. But you know what else he had? The most dangerous thing of all. He was a power guy. He loved power. And much like Trump, that's what Prince and Trump have in common. I never really thought about that until actually I watched it the second time. When you said you want to do the Prince thing, I watched it again, and I made that realization that, wow, that guy actually killed his own band.
Destroyed it.
And he had good bands. He had really good bands. And he had diverse bands. And I thought that was interesting because I've never seen, other than there were a couple bands that in the 80s, I think. Well, the Bangles were the 80s, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there were very few bands where women guitarists, women playing keyboards. You know, most of the time when you saw, I mean, Fleetwood Mac was one that had a keyboard player that was a woman. Bangles had everybody was a woman. Their Heart had a guitarist that was a woman. Very few bands did that, and I liked the fact that he was very diverse in what he chose. But he also, like Fleetwood Mac, had sex with his partners in the band, which is usually a killer. And I've been in a lot of bands in my day, and the number one killer of those bands was ego. And it was my
all
ego.
ego is.
And it was,
Almost every single one I've watched of Breaking the Band has been ego
Yeah.
destroyed.
yes, it was. In fact, I was guilty of that. So when I killed my last band with egos is when I took a good look at myself and realized that I was the problem, or me versus other. Like the band I'm in now, I'm really being good. I'm letting the person who started the band run the band. Sadly, I don't think he's doing a good job of running the band. Could I do a better job? I couldn't do any worse. I've got really great band players, good players in this band. Really, really great band players. And I really fear that this band is not going to go anywhere because the guy that runs the band isn't doing a good job. And I'm trying to be patient with it, but I'll tell you, I fear that we're going to end in the same situation that I think they're going to end up. I'm doing everything I can, like doing the promo stuff, although I haven't had time to do the promo stuff lately because I've had this issue with the scammers keep stealing my stuff. But yeah, ego is the biggest issue with bands, and I wish that I had not been an ego maniac in the beginning, because I think things would have been a bit different, and who knows. So anyway, I'll let you. I'll let you say a few things here and let you talk about.
Well, I wanted to talk about Trump's budget.
Oh, well, I wasn't done with Prince.
What, you're still done with Prince?
I didn't.
Well, the only other thing I want to say about Prince is that he was ahead of his time.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And nobody understood him.
When he first came out, I remember saying to myself, "Oh, this is really weird," and I didn't like his stuff at the beginning. But it wasn't until he got, I think, Purple Rain is when I started realizing he was pretty good. And one of the things that scared me about him was he was too different. But as he got into his stuff, I realized that he had not only was he good, but he handpicked his people, and they were good. The Rainbow Band was the first band that he had, and he tried to make people of different colors and genders and all that stuff. And he had females that were prominent in that band, but yet the only person that mattered was him, because if anybody started getting too popular, they were cut. And the fact that he got to play in 1981, he got to play with the Rolling Stones, and
Yes.
Jay Giles was a backup band, and George Thorogood was the other backup band. And when you're playing and you get booed off the stage with those bands, that tells you a lot. You totally different from the standard, and people weren't ready. Like you said, they weren't ready. He was ahead of his time. And he signed his first contract at 19. That says a lot, too. He must have known people. I can't imagine. He produced his first album at 19. 79, he got recognition for I Want to Be Your Lover. And he was on American Bandstand. Man, that was a fantasy of mine. I always loved that, to be on American Bandstand. And that's a dance show. You would expect them that to be pretty good.
But he got to be able to introduce his bandmates. That's how much he impressed Dick Clark.
Yeah, and the fact that he then his one player had an issue. The one girl had an issue with the song "Head."
Yes.
I would have an issue with that too. I mean, but the thing is, he was such a sexual person. That was his. If you look at his songs, a lot of those songs were about love or hate, were about emotions, because he seemed to be a pretty emotional person. And it was interesting that he, the keyboard, I think it was the keyboard player quit, was it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And then Lisa, whatever her last name was, came on.
Yeah, Lisa Coleman came on. And Andre Simone played guitar, but he couldn't agree, and it was replaced. I guess Andre must not have been guitar. He might have been bass. He was replaced by Brown Mark. Billboard, he made Billboard in 1999. Little Red Corvette was the breakthrough song. I remember that was one of the songs I thought, hey, that's not so bad. I can't admit I like it because it wasn't my style of music. Because back then I was into hard rock and stuff. But little by little it started winning me over.
That was a great song.
Yeah, and that movie that came out, that to me won me over. That movie was so good, and so that to me was the turning point for them. But then he was smart enough to put the tour together where all the bands he hand chose. Vanity Six, I remember that band saying, "Oh, this is hot chicks playing it." Or was it Vanity Six? Yeah, I think it was Vanity Six. And I remember Morris Day and the Time because I thought they were awesome. But what did he do? He fired them because they were getting too good. Well,
they competed against him. They wanted to outshow him.
Yes. Well, that's because that's what he wanted anyway. He liked the fact that everybody would compete with each other, but just don't beat him. And so that's the issue that his ego wouldn't allow anything else. So that was a shame because he could have done so much more with them. Because once those bands broke up, he really didn't do anything. He didn't do anything new. Even when the year he died and stuff, all they did was just rehash the stuff, and he didn't really do anything exciting or new for probably 10 years. Let me get this. I want to get this up here so that. Did I have that? Did I save that? Let me see. But yeah, I mean, the guy was really talented, but the problem with that talent is that you have a bad thing that goes with that too. A lot of the people that are talented like that have the egos. Some people who don't have the talent have the egos too. Speaking out of experience there. But hold on here. Gotta pull it up here because I thought this came up right, but it didn't. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. That's the wrong Prince. Oh my, got the wrong Prince. What that came up. Darn it. Why are you doing this to me? Why are you not working right? There we go. That's the second one. There's the one I wanted. There we go. Okay, come on. Give it to me. There we go. And he was a short guy too. And I think he had relationships with a couple girls in that band And then if he didn't like you, he fired you. That movie grossed $70 million. And that was, I just loved what they did with it, though, because that truly showed his artistic side. And he was 57 when he died. That was just a shame. And it says here he died of fentanyl, but they don't tell you. They in the show they said that he died of an overdose, but they didn't mention that it was he bought oxycodone on the street rather than in legal ways, and that was coated with the fentanyl. So that's how he actually did die. It's such a shame because it just came out of the blue. You know, one day we woke up and he was no longer with us, and the pain that he had was because he used to wear those high heels and stuff, and he messed his ankles up, and it was really bad, and he wouldn't quit wearing those heels, and so he died by heels. That's such a weird way to go, but I don't know. It's just really really a shame because he was a very talented person. But, you know, that's the way it is. He sold 100 million records worldwide. More than 100 million records.
39 albums.
Yeah. And he had a broken marriage. He grew up in a broken marriage. His father left when he was a teenager, I guess. I think that's what it was. Let's see, is there anything else I needed to? I mean, basically, he lived in he was brought up in a strange, Minneapolis home. He didn't have any particular help getting where he got. And When Doves Cried, that was a great album, too.
That's a great album.
The fact is, he also came up at the great time of MTV. And once MTV started playing, yes, it did. Because some of his videos were really, really good. And that just was awesome. That he had that. I always wanted to be on MTV, too. Now MTV doesn't show music videos, so it's such a strange thing. All right, now we can move on. Oh, that's such a shame. All right, what do you got?
Well, do you want to do The Chosen?
We can do that, sure.
Sure, go right into The Chosen.
I did. It was the third episode, I believe, that I watched.
Third episode. Yeah.
And so the third episode, I thought it was an interesting episode, but they didn't really tell you right away who Jesus was. I mean, he shows up there and he's hanging out with a bunch of children. And I was a little confused at first till I figured out, oh, okay, now I understand. What part of the Bible is that from?
Well, it's from nowhere. That whole episode is not found in Scripture.
Oh, okay. What were they trying to...
Some of the things he said are in Scripture. Some of the things he taught are in Scripture. But that episode, there is no record of him being alone with a bunch of children.
Yeah. I thought that was kind of odd that they... well, if that were the case, I thought that was really odd that so what was the idea? Were they trying to combine things to make it quicker so that the episode... What was the purpose of that episode? I guess it's
Jesus specifically loved children.
Okay.
And they were trying to show where that love came from. And they were trying to intermingle his teachings about children into an episode. Because the rest of the series, he doesn't really interact with children.
Oh, okay.
This is the one show that he interacts with children.
Okay.
They tried to show he was a craftsman.
All right.
That's how he earned a living.
Okay.
That's how he personally earned a living before he found people that would support his ministry. He hadn't really started his ministry yet when this episode was being filmed. He hadn't started his ministry. He had people, specifically women, that rich women that would support his ministry,
Huh.
and he took his disciples away from their craft or their profession, and so they didn't have the money to support him. He stopped being a carpenter when he started his 3-year ministry.
Okay.
So there was no income that he could get from anybody. So in this episode, he supported himself through his carpentry craft. If
Okay.
you remember, he was making locks for people.
Okay.
He was doing making figurines.
Yes.
He made and he was a craftsman, and that is in scripture.
Okay.
So he was a craftsman. He was a carpenter, but he was a craftsman, and so he was good at what he did, and he was supporting himself and with his crafts, and that is not in scripture. That is assumed.
Okay.
That is just assumed.
Okay. Well, that makes a whole
The
lot
whole
more sense.
idea is that they love kids. That was the whole purpose of that episode.
Okay. I just wanted to understand that because I thought it was interesting, but I was thinking, well, wow, that's a lot of a lot of children were hanging around this guy that we didn't know much about him, but we eventually figured out that he said his name. It says is also a mirror of how he was going to teach the disciples.
Yes.
Okay, so that came from Christine. So
Very good, Christine. Very good.
she is she likes that series a lot, and yeah, I think it was interesting. I mean, it really it did a good job of showing him with children, showing that was good with children, all that stuff.
Now, one of the things that I found interesting is that the parents, if they would have known these kids were hanging out with this strange man, I think the parents would have been very upset.
Well, that was one of the things that I thought of. I thought, well, isn't that kind of odd that, I just kind of, because I didn't understand what, I didn't want to question what it was that he, because it was different times then. So I didn't know if maybe they were closer to, I don't know. I just found it really interesting that the whole idea of the parents and the kids and all that stuff. I found it really interesting that he was there. I mean, during that. So I kind of got lost by that, but I didn't spend too much time thinking about that because, the purpose of that was to show that he was caring and all that stuff. So I didn't want to question it too much, but, I did question a little bit.
Well, they're trying to build his character.
Yeah.
And since kids were very important to him, they wanted to do a show where he just focused on children. Because as you go into the series more, that is with him being with children is not an emphasis.
Okay.
It's him being with adults that becomes the emphasis.
Okay. Well, like I said, I liked it. It was a good episode. I didn't give it too much overthinking. I did give it a little overthinking, but I didn't want to overthink it. So I just went on with it. Actually, when it was over, I was like, oh, we're done. Okay. and the hour went by really quick, or whatever the time was. So it was good not to see the tax guy and all that stuff because he annoyed me. But it's a pretty good show, and I'm trying to give it as much credence as I can, because it definitely is a different type of show. Oh, we got a different kind of dog who happened to knock the barrier down. So we're gonna have a pesky dog here now. What else do you want to say about that show?
Well, are you going to continue to watch?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it's okay. It's I'm learning.
It picks up. The series picks up as we go along. It becomes more and more. It becomes better.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I can see potential in this show. I'm curious to see what happens to him, and whether he becomes king or whether he takes over. I'm trying to be funny here, but
I know.
But yeah, I mean, I'm not bored with the show. I am still learning and all that stuff. So I'm learning stuff as I go too, which is, I'm sure, what the idea of the show is.
No idea.
And that's one thing that was on my mind is, was this scene or this episode, did this happen, or was this another?
Yeah, the concepts are real and biblical, but the actual setting is not.
Okay. Well, I think it's a good show, and I think that there's definitely potential to see. I'm curious enough to see the next couple episodes, see the rest of the season, and actually I want to catch up to where we are or where they are at this point, because isn't this the Last Supper? Is this season?
They move it all up until when Judas betrays him.
Okay.
That's where they end in season 5.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good to know.
I'm not quite sure how to help you with that.
Oh, no one asked you. Alexa said that she isn't sure how to help me with that. So, all right. What do you got next?
Well, Trump is supposed to be a Republican.
Yes.
And Republicans want to balance the budget. They want to eradicate the debt we're in. And his budget will put $2 to $4 trillion more on the debt.
Now,
he wants to eliminate taxes from overtime, from tips,
right,
and from Social Security. But he doesn't pay for it.
Okay. Well, how much money has Doge saved us?
Just a couple million, just a couple $100 million. That's all.
Oh.
They said they would save us $2 trillion. They're just at a couple $100 million or $200 million.
Okay.
So it's I mean, there's more savings to be had, but it won't get to the $2 trillion mark that was promised.
Okay. Well, that's a problem.
That is a problem because Trump raised the debt a lot of money in his first term.
Okay.
And now he's doing it again in this term to fulfill campaign promises. Now, I'm in favor of eradicating the debt from Social Security because I'll get a raise.
Yeah, I'm in favor of that too.
Right, and I'm in favor of no tips, and I'm in favor of no taxes on overtime. But you got to pay for it, and
right.
His budget isn't paying for it. So
yeah, that's kind of backwards to what he was saying. So yeah, that's an issue.
That's an issue. So that's the one thing. Then there was an escape in New Orleans, and it was an inside job. Do you know about the escape
No,
in
I
New
don't.
Orleans?
I
10
don't.
hardened criminals, murderers, escaped the jail in New Orleans in one of the parishes. And there was an inside job. It's a big deal because they haven't caught seven of the 10 inmates that escaped have not been caught yet. I think it's 7. It could be 6 by now, but I think it's 7 are still at large, and they're very, very dangerous individuals. And they They tore a toilet apart and a sink, and that's how they got out through the plumbing.
Wow.
The plumbing in the wall. And what they did was they got this maintenance guy threatened to kill him if he didn't turn off the water. And so
Wow.
the guy went, instead of turning them in, he went and turned off the water as they instructed him to.
Wow.
And now he's facing a lot of time in jail for doing that instead of going and turning them in.
Wow.
So yeah, there's 3 other employees that have been put on administrative leave because they think that they were involved in this escape.
Jeez.
And so this is a bad thing. This is one of the biggest jailbreaks there has been in a long, long time.
Wow.
And but the big thing is it was an inside job.
Yeah. Yeah. Really. And what are we going to do with the guy that did that helped him? Are they going to? I mean,
they're charging him with a lot of stuff.
I was going to say they would have to.
They're charging him with, I don't know exactly what they're charging him with. I didn't. It's in the article, but I can't find it right now.
Wow.
But he's in trouble. He's in big trouble.
Wow.
See, I worked in a prison, and if that would have been something that would have happened to me, my responsibility is to report that up the chain and ask for protective custody. All he would have had to have done was ask for protective custody.
I mean, if let's say this happened again. Now this guy was threatened by these people. I mean,
yes,
and,
trying to be shamed.
Wow. What would you have done?
I would have turned him in and asked for protective custody.
Okay. Wow. That guy's life is done. I would imagine. Either way, he loses everything. Either gets shanked.
He's lost everything. He's lost his life. He's lost his family. He's lost his career. He's lost his retirement. He's lost everything.
Wow.
Out of fear of dying. I mean, I understand the fear, but there's a better way to handle it than to go along with the escape.
Right. Yeah. Wow. That's
now, next on the list is Elon Musk.
Okay.
Elon has backed off his political career.
Thankfully.
He is going to do a lot less political spending from now on, as announced. Unless he figures out something that's very important, he's not giving money to politicians anymore.
Right. That was, I mean, that was horrible. The stock is going back up. It's I'm happy about that. Actually, let's see where it is, just out of curiosity. Because I know that I feel better about things. 343, almost 344. So that's definitely better than 180, which it was, or 167, which it was at one point. So we're going back up. And that's good. And actually, if we look at year to date, take a look at that swing. It was way up here for a while. It was at my high points. I was looking at pretty good. It was that's 428. That's not bad. But it says a year high was 488.54. I remember those days. I was sitting here gloating because I thought, man, I'm going to be doing good. And then it didn't take long for it to drop. It dropped quickly. So, yeah, I'm happy that that's the case. So, yeah, let's keep it in this direction.
So he's done with politics. He's going to try to rehabilitate his team.
And they're talking about some new cars that look pretty cool. And actually, they're talking about a car that could be potentially, with the rebates, could be $18,000. So That makes it very attractive for anyone that looks for a new car. So I'm kind of jazzed about that. That there's potential that this could go back to normal. I'm ready to pull.
What do you think happened, Mike? Do you think his investors and his stockholders told him to get out of politics?
Oh yeah,
Or else?
yes, I think he got an ultimatum, and they were actually looking for a replacement for him. So yeah, I mean, this was not a good move for him financially. Um, you may be the richest person, but your companies are going to suffer if you're going to play games with. You stay out of politics. That's not a good place for you to be. I would even think that. Well, I think Trump's people still like Trump, regardless of what Trump does. But Elon was middle of the road there for a long time, and once he popped into politics, all of a sudden stocks and everything started falling. I think he's learned his lesson that he needs to be making money and doing what he does best. I'm not saying he didn't do a good job here, but there's just too many people. If he had done this job for anyone but Trump, he would have been okay. But yeah.
So you're a stockholder. Did you get any information that they were actually looking for a
Yes.
replacement? Or
Yeah.
yes.
But it wasn't from my stocks. It was from just the news.
Oh, from the news. Okay.
Yeah.
I was wondering if it came from.
No, it's just the news. There was nothing that. The thing is, I think that it was a bad move for him. And when there was somebody that I can't remember who it was, but somebody like sold, what was it, 600 million shares or something like that, to dump them out just to get rid of them, and they'll not buy Tesla stock anymore. That's a pretty big eye opener.
That's a big motivator.
Yeah, I mean, someone like me, it doesn't matter. I only own a handful. But when someone sells that many shares, yeah, that's time to rethink your strategy. But I just think that he'll be a little bit smarter about doing business like this. And personally, as far as that goes, the further away he is from politics, the happier I'll be. Not because I don't.
He's gonna get far away now.
Yeah, not that I don't believe he was trying to do good. I think he did to try to do good, because I don't think this is a guy that does anything halfway. He throws his whole self in there, and I think when he saw his, I mean, he's not going to lose where he has to worry about, but everybody else is, and that's where the problem comes in. So he's got enough money for the rest of his life. He doesn't have to worry about one of his companies going down in stock, because the amount of money he has now, he's going to be okay. But he's smart enough to realize that you burn all your people, they're not going to follow you again. So, he's got too many things to do. He should have never done it in the first place. I understand the reason why he did it, but it backfired. So
it backfired tremendously.
Yeah. And believe me, I was sitting.
He was not ready for the vitriol from the left.
Right. I would have sold my stocks had I even had an indication that this was going to happen. Because someone like me, I can't afford to lose that much money. If I had thought that this was going to be an issue, I would have sold it and then bought it when it dropped to the lowest, and started over. But that's what the big boys did. The big boys were smart. They probably made money off this.
Yeah.
But
the next thing is Walmart.
Yes.
What Walmart is doing. Walmart is charging more money for products from China,
Yes.
and at least 50% of the products in Walmart are made from China.
Oof.
And Trump is very mad at Walmart right now. He wants Walmart to eat all the increase.
Oh, he can't expect that. That's
That's what he said. That's what he said. Walmart should eat it.
yeah,
And Walmart said we eat as much as we can, but we can't eat it all.
right. That's all businesses. Who wants to, eat that? There's a reason it's there. It's not because Walmart's overpriced. It's because, he's creating these new tariffs that nobody wants to eat. I don't know. I want to wait and see, but boy, we're getting close to I mean, maybe it'll work. Maybe what Trump has in mind will work. I just don't know. Because it's so radical compared to what everyone else has done. It's hard for me to make that decision.
But prices are going to go up because of the 10% across the board tariff on everything.
Right.
Prices are going to go up, and we're just going to have to get used to it
Right.
as long as it stays. And it's the sticker shock, and
Right.
that is going to determine whether Trump keeps his majority in the House and the Senate.
Right.
Come midterm election, is whether people are going to forgive him for this or not.
Right. Because wages aren't going to go up.
Well, the whole idea is to get more manufacturing jobs. There'll be more high-paying jobs for people. But individual wages in factories are not going to go up because they're going to want to keep the costs down because prices are going up. And the worker is going to bear the brunt of companies getting charged more for their tools, for the machinery, for their product. They're going to have someone's going to have to eat this, and it's going to be eaten up from no raises. That's
Right.
one of the things that it's going to stop. There's no raises. And I know this is sounding tonight like I'm anti-Trump, and I'm not anti-Trump. It's just that this is the reality of what is happening right now.
Right. Somebody's got to pay for it.
Someone's got to pay for it, and it's going to come to the consumer and the worker. It's going to end up paying for it because companies are not going to use the cars.
Right.
They have a profit to make for their stockholders, and they're going to make that profit for their stockholders.
Well, I mean, coming from a distribution standpoint, we don't make 10 points in distribution. We're lucky if we make 2 to 3 points on a lot of deals. So when you're talking about 10 points, 10%, that's a big amount to a supplier, to a distribution center, because we
That's
didn't.
That's a 7-point loss.
Yeah, yeah,
And they can't absorb it.
right. So that was an issue even when he was in 2000. What was it? 2016? Yeah, it was 2016. I was still working then, and those tariffs that really, or not tariffs, but those increases that were caused when he was doing that before. I remember people being really upset because the cost of electronics was going to go up, and because that was my main business, it was going to affect me. Now, fortunately, I got out of there and retired, and it didn't affect my retirement, but it could have easily affected my retirement. So I don't know. I'm thankful that I don't have to worry about that anymore. But in essence, I guess I do, because my stuff is all going to be dependent on the stock market in a lot of senses. They shifted all my money from the stock market to some other funds that are making higher amounts right now. But I've got good people that are money managers, and I think it's good that I have them because it saved my butt. So I don't know.
Now's not a good time to be speculating on the stock market.
That is true. But fortunately, at this point, I'm doing good. And I'm still
Well,
doing
that's
good.
good. I'm glad.
And plus, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but I am now officially a licensed promoter of Pennsylvania. I think I told you off the.
Congratulations.
What's that?
I said congratulations.
It took us 3 months, but I finally am now legal. And now, not that it was illegal before, but it was kind of illegal. But it wasn't really illegal because a lot of smaller promoters rent their license from a guy who has their promotion. And that's what we were doing. So we didn't do it illegally, but we didn't do it by the letter of the law. And at this point, we can do it by the letter of the law because I'm now a licensed promoter. Now, that means a lot of different things. First off, I can rent my license. That could be to my advantage because we got this new school that has no money coming in yet, but we're going to get the building in June. So when you're out here next time, maybe I'll take you to see the building if you want to see it.
That would be nice.
It's a 2-hour drive, but it's worth. Once we get this thing going, it's going to be awesome. This building is this is exciting to me in a lot of ways. It's going to be hard to. The wrestling business is really a tough business because there's so many promotions. You've got to give them a reason to want to come to your promotion. But when there's a school involved, once we get the school going and we get a regular clientele, it'll feed itself. But we have to buy a ring. We're in the process of buying a ring. We should pick it up next week. We got the building's going to be freshly painted, freshly done. They're paving the surface of the parking lot, so it'll be clean. The room is really a nice room. It'll be good we can do small events there. We can do parties there. We can do small concerts and stuff. I'm going to talk to my band this weekend and see if I can get them to agree to do a show there at a reduced price because, we don't have any money right now. But the potential is really good because the area that we're going to be in, it's a middle class to lower middle class, which is really good. And the wrestling business has never been hotter. Right now, I think it's a good time to be in the wrestling business. So I think it'll all work out. It just scares me a lot because I'm out of my element. I was in the wrestling business. I've been in the wrestling business. I know the wrestling business. But now I'm on the other side of the wrestling business.
Now you're the owner.
Yes, and that's the scariest thing. But my partner and I have talked about it. My other partners in the school, I'm not alone, so I don't have to worry about fronting the whole thing. And once we get this thing going, I think it'll be okay. It's just kind of scary a little bit because it's not my element, but I think it'll be okay. And if I rent my license out a couple times a month, it'll help us pay the bills. So I don't have to take it out of my pocket. So
I got one more thing
Yeah.
for you, Mike.
go ahead.
Former President Joe Biden has cancer.
Yes, I heard about that, and that's not good. It's as bad. It's pretty bad.
It's bad. It's bad. It's prostate cancer. It's a grade 9, which means that it's a very aggressive cancer, and it has metastasized into his bone.
Yeah.
Here's the problem. It takes 5 to 10 years for this to happen. Why wasn't he diagnosed before this?
He probably was.
But they kept it a secret.
Yeah. And think about this. Had he not had the mental issues and he successfully would have won, that would have been a whole other can of worms.
That's right. Because he probably, most likely, would have died in office.
And I probably wouldn't have had a problem with him winning if he was all there. I mean, I did have a problem with him winning versus someone else because I believe that they didn't do anything during their term. But I really would have had a problem with his vice president running the country because I really don't think she's ready for anything like that. So I'm kind of glad it happened the way it did because, she was all ready to take over even though she wasn't qualified by any extent. But, kind of scares me.
So I feel sorry for Joe.
Me too.
I mean, who wants to have that kind of cancer?
Right.
And it is treated by hormone therapy.
Okay.
So he does have a prognosis of a couple years. If the treatment goes well, he's not going to die tomorrow or next week. So it is terminal, but it can be managed for quite a while.
Right. And chances are, with him, with his mental state, he probably won't even realize what's going on.
After a while.
Yeah. I feel bad for him. I mean, he didn't seem like a bad person. He had some bad ideas, but not a bad person. And I don't know.
Well, I didn't hate him.
Yeah.
I just didn't think he was a good president.
No, I didn't either but the thing is, we were complaining because our prices went up so much when he was president. And now look what's going on.
Yeah, prices are going up.
Yeah. So, I don't know. What do you think of the fact that, let me see if I can find, let me find this here. Okay, I'm looking here. Okay, here it is. Represent. Okay, so here is an article on. Hope this is right. Hope I got the right. Hope I didn't get too early of one. Okay, come on. Okay, House Democrat pulls Trump impeachment resolution after backlash. Okay, so maybe it's okay. So originally, earlier today, I read that there was going to be some issues where the Democrats were going to start an impeachment process, and it's 6 Republicans joined in on this. Michigan Democratic congressman opted not to force a vote on a resolution to impeach President Trump Wednesday in face of certain defeat and objections from his own colleagues. Representative Sri Vandar, Democrat out of Michigan, had until Wednesday business to force a vote on his so-called privileged resolution, which contains 7 articles of impeachment for alleged crimes, including abuse of trade powers, bribery, corruption, and obstruction of justice and tyranny. After talking to many of my colleagues, I decided not to force a vote on impeachment today. Thanedar, who's 70, told Politico in a text message, "Instead, I will add my articles of impeachment and continue to rally the support of Democrats and Republicans to defend the Constitution with me." Had Thanedar called up a resolution, Republicans would have immediately put forward a motion to table, tackling the measure without a direct up or down vote, and dozens of Democrats would have gleefully supported it. So I guess that's Thanedar. Thanedar, what's that?
No, go ahead.
Thanedar, whose district includes parts of Detroit and its suburbs, announced plans to charge ahead with impeachment articles last month, shortly after Michigan legislator Donovan McKinney launched a primary challenge against him. Justice Democrats, a far-left group, supportive of socialist Bernie Sanders, has pushed McKinney, while Squad Rep Rashida Tlaib, I don't even know, also endorsed him. So, I mean, that was a weird thing. That I guess that was resolved fairly quick, but just sounds like he's just tabling it for now.
Well, first of all, it's flimsy. It's a lot of flimsy charges.
Okay.
That's number one. Number two is it'll never go anywhere because Republicans control the House.
Okay.
Third is he did it because a far left person was running against him.
Okay.
And the Democrats said don't do it because it's going to hurt your chances to win again.
Okay.
So there's a lot of it's all politics. It's nobody did anything on principle. They did it because of political expedience.
Okay.
So it wasn't a principled threat. In other words, it wasn't a principled idea.
Okay.
It was all politically motivated.
Well,
so if you're going to try to impeach the president, you got to have better grounds than what he had.
I mean, the one thing he talked about was the idea that Trump had the one guy sent back to the other country he was supposed to, but he wasn't supposed to because the guy was here legally. That was one of the things that he had in.
The other thing was a bribe about the plane that UAE wanted to give to Trump, and he's not giving it to Trump; they're giving it to the United States, the Pentagon, and the armed forces of the United States. You know, there's just some flimsy things that were there.
Yeah, and
that whole thing you talk about the young man that the MS-13, the accused MS-13 individual that was sent to El Salvador.
Yeah.
Trump is defying the Supreme Court by not bringing him back.
Right. And
you and I talked about it before, and you had come to the conclusion that Trump should bring him back if he was wrong.
Right.
And I still hold to that position. Even though I think the guy's a white beater, and I think he probably is an MS-13 member, he was not to be deported to El Salvador. He was to be deported to any other country in the world, but not to El Salvador. And Trump sent him to El Salvador.
Well, I mean, I just think the idea of using that the basis of the impeachment isn't enough. You're going to have something that's better than that.
He also was against the tariffs. He thought that was something that Trump doesn't have the authority to do, is place tariffs in other countries. So, and that's an open debate. That is a debate. Does Trump have the authority to make those sort of decisions, or is that a congressional, or is Congress supposed to make those decisions?
Right, sure.
And that's an open debate. That's been a debate for decades, whether presidents have the ability to do that or not. And that has to be litigated in the courts.
Okay.
And so, there is some merit to some of the things that this guy said.
Right.
But these things have to be done through the court, not through impeachment.
Right.
They have to be determined by the court system up to the Supreme Court. That's where I come down on it.
Okay.
I don't think impeachment is the right way to go to determine the answers to these questions. But Trump is defying the Supreme Court of the United States.
Yeah.
Pure and simple, he's defying it.
Yeah. Well, he's like the prince. the prince of the governor, or the prince of presidents. So he wants it his way or the highway, and he fires people as he needs to. So Prince was actually Trump at a younger age.
That's right.
Oh man.
A control freak.
Yep, that's it. Jeez.
And here's the sad thing. Now, I really do sound like I'm anti-Trump today, and I'm not anti-Trump, but he does some things sometimes that just drives me wild,
Me too.
you know?
I
Things that he doesn't need to do. He shoots himself in his own foot, you know? He just can't keep his mouth shut sometimes, and
it comes down to the ego thing again. Just he should be a musician.
that's right. He'd make a good lead musician.
He would definitely be a guy that would be a candidate for that. So maybe he'll make it in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So
Yeah, maybe. So what else you got, Mike?
I got lots of stuff. I got.
Back to you.
How about the first human bladder transplant? Did you hear about that?
I never heard. No.
Oh, this is a new thing that I just got that today. First human bladder transplant performed at UCLA. Apparently, this is a big deal because I didn't realize that we couldn't do that, but now UCLA surgical team had performed the first in-human bladder transplant. The surgery was successfully completed at the Ronald Reagan UCLA Medical Center on May 4th. Hey, that's right around the time when I was scammed the first time. The team was led by Dr. Nima Vasari, a urologic transplant surgeon and director of the UCLA Vascular Composite Bladder Allograft Transplant Program, with assistance from Dr. Indabir Gill, founding executive director of USC Urology. Bladder transplantation has been Dr. Nasari principal academic focus since we recruited him to the UCLA faculty several years ago. It is incredibly gratifying to see him take this work from the laboratory to human patients at UCLA, which operates the busiest and most successful solid organ transplant program in the Western United States. This is a big deal. This could have saved how many people that have bladder cancer, and that would have been. To me, that's pretty big. Yeah. So
back to the president. They said that he didn't have he did not have a screening for cancer since 2014. Do you believe that?
I would think that they would have to have some kind of physical or something while they were president or before they became president.
4 times a year they have to do a physical, I believe.
Wow.
Yearly physical, but four times a year they have to have a checkup, and they didn't do.
Wow.
They didn't do a cancer screen. So, bladder cancer is a big killer.
Yes, it is, because I know people that have had bladder cancer, and you don't get out of it alive usually.
No.
So, yeah, I had a good friend when I was working. He died. I think eventually died of bladder cancer. It was a cancer of some sort, but he had been susceptible to all kinds of cancers, and he had all kinds of weird things going on. And he died at like 50, I think. It was such a shame.
That's a young age.
Yeah. Well, he had issues like before that, and he had just beat them, and then he finally ended up, I think, bladder cancer. For some reason, I think bladder cancer is what killed him. So it's a shame. Dave was a good guy, and I hated to see him go because he was my supervisor at that point. Here's a big one. Brooklyn Bridge.
Mexican Navy.
Yes. What were they doing here to begin with? When I saw that, I thought, well, what were they doing? They couldn't have, if they were attacking us, they would have attacked us at a little closer place in Brooklyn. And apparently there was, what was it? Two died, and 19 others were critically injured.
Yeah.
And did you see the video of it?
Yeah, they lost power and backed into the bridge.
The first thing I thought of This is so sick. Christine's from Baltimore area, and her bridge was that bridge that got hit and knocked down. That one was real close to where she lived. And she told me how bad it is down in that area because you can't get to that other side without taking this long drive around the state to get there. And I'm thinking, what if they knocked down the Brooklyn Bridge, man? Can you imagine? That would have been horrible. And that bridge is horrible to drive across as it is. But apparently it's steady because it didn't knock it down. But it really did mess up that ship. Well, I just can't understand why they were up here for military, whatever.
They travel. It's at the end of their training. These were trainees, and they were taking this ship around to different ports around the world.
Huh.
It's the end of their training.
Gee.
From Mexican Navy. And they were pulling out of the dock to leave, and they lost power. And the ship, evidently, the transmission was stuck in reverse.
Oh, man.
Back into the bridge.
That would have been horrible if that had done damage to that bridge. I have been across that bridge a couple times. I hate that bridge, but I wouldn't like to have no bridge there. That would be bad. That was scary to see that. When I saw it, I'm like, oh my gosh. I thought, well, how much damage could it do? And I thought, probably a bit. If it hit it at any, although it was just the masks, and it just broke the masks off, and that's good.
Right. But they had some trainees up on the masts, and they were hanging for their dear life.
Oh, man.
Until they were rescued by New York Fire Department. But,
jeez.
the two died. The initial thing was nobody died, but it ended up that two died.
Well, that's better than could have been. I mean, if that bridge had fallen, I could just imagine. Like, one of the final destinations was a bridge that collapsed, and all these people thought they were safe going across this bridge, and the bridge collapsed. And I thought, man, what a horrible way to die. And the way the people died was really horrible watching it. But yeah, that was scary. And by the way, I watched a video on YouTube that talks about, since we have the borders now, better patrol. I'm going to say better patrol, but more secured than they were. The pirates or the drug dealers are now taking to the ocean and and we're capturing lots of them on the ocean, coming up, taking these boats out and trying to bring the drugs in that way. They catch a lot of people on that, and I never would have even thought about that. But we have these radar and all that stuff. We can catch anybody if we want to. So we're catching all kinds of guys on the ocean now.
But it's kind of funny. You don't even think of Mexico as having a navy.
Right. When I saw that, I thought, does Mexico have a navy? What do they do with the navy?
That's what I thought too.
I couldn't imagine them having one, but it is what it is. Magna Carta surprise. A rare Magna Carta from the 1300s has been identified at Harvard Law School archives. Purchased in 1946. How much do you think they bought the Magna Carta for 1946?
$500,000.
$27.50, which would be about $477 today. It was misfiled for decades and long mistaken for a replica. The sheepskin parchment is now confirmed as one of only 7 known surviving originals issued by King Edward that year. British historians discovered the significance after encountering a high-resolution digital image online. They used ultraviolet light and spectral imaging to compare the physical text to verify its authenticity. They believe the document was first sent to the parliamentary borough of Appleby in Westmoreland, England, and later purchased by London book dealers from the Royal Air Force war hero before being sold to Harvard. It was first signed in 1215 by King John. The Magna Carta established the principle that no one, not even a monarch, is above the law. Well, maybe they need that to give to Trump. Let's see here. The 1300 version, known as the Confirmation of the Charters, reaffirmed the rights and helped lay the foundation for constitutional law, including the U.S. Constitution. So that was kind of a surprise. Nobody expected that. I found that really interesting. Then I've got, let's see here. There was an earthquake in San Diego probably 2 weeks ago, causing road closures and rock falls. Let's see here. Got to pull that article up here. We got it. Yeah, there's the some of the rock falls. A 5.2 magnitude earthquake rattled San Diego County and Southern California. That was that last Monday or the Monday before? That was the 14th. So that would have been last. What's today? Yeah, okay. I was going to say, yeah, because today's the 20th. Yeah. So, yeah, that was kind of scary to see that. That was a strange thing. Okay, then we got, okay, let's see here. So that I can delete. Where is your baby? Familiar trend. Okay, let's see what this is. I forget what some of these were. Gotta look to see. First time in 2025, Lakewood, New Jersey, and leaving one of his 6 children in the car before that precisely happened in March, resulting in the death of his 4-month-old son in the family minivan. Ehrlich, 35, told investigators he had acquired several methods to remind him that there was a baby in the car. One of the methods was including placing his hat on the front passenger seat while he was driving as a reminder. On March 18th, doing so made no difference. Details about the circumstances surrounding the baby's last hours were outlined in an affidavit of probable cause that led to Ehrlich's arrest on the charge of child endangerment 2 days later on March 20th. A student at a local religious school, Ehrlich described a disrupted and hurried morning before he went to his yeshiva to begin his studies. The child, whose name was redacted in the charging documents requested by Asbury Park Press, part of the USA Today network, under the state's Open Records Act, had been left in the car about 2.5 hours while Ehrlich was in the Jewish school. The baby was the first to die in a hot car in 2025, according to data collected by Kids and Car Safety, which tracks the deaths and advocates for preventive measures. Dozens of children tragically perish each year in cars that heat up quickly when left in the hot sun, even if the temperatures don't feel hot outside. Many of the children are left by parents unknowingly, according to the organization. The temperature in the Ehrlich's car was recorded at 96.2 degrees at 3:45 that day, even though the air temperature outside was 67.8 degrees. In this day and age, there's just no reason for this.
No.
You know, I'm sorry, I can't. I mean, I feel bad for the kid. You know, when we were kids, our parents would leave us in the car in the middle of summer
That's right. With the windows open.
with our window. Yes, and they didn't care if we were stolen or anything, because that'd just be another kid they'd have to have. But now you got a kid. Now you got kids dying in hot cars. I can't imagine. I don't understand why it's any different today than it was then. But we must have been tougher. I don't know.
Well, first of all, because of air conditioning, windows are closed. Back in our day, the windows were open all the time because you had to have airflow
Right.
to keep the heat up. So that is a difference. But here's the thing. Not only did he lose a child, his life is ruined because he's going to go to jail.
Yeah. It's crazy. See, if you had a Tesla,
Just because he forgot the child was there. His life is ruined.
the one thing that's cool about Teslas, they have dog mode. You can have your dogs all year round in your car because they have dog mode. They air condition the car while you're not there, and it says dog mode on the screen. So if anybody's concerned about whether there's an animal in there, But the dog mode wouldn't have worked there because the guy didn't know he had a kid in the car.
That's right. He did not.
So he still would have probably done it anyway. But I don't know. I just think that it's careless. I mean, I can't even imagine what he was what he is going to go through, because that kid.
Oh, he's living in hell right now.
Yeah, I mean, especially if he was a good parent. Other than that, I just feel for that baby first off. But then, we hadn't heard any from the first part of the year. But usually we hear this as the year goes on. So I don't know. No one wins in a situation like this. So I don't know. But here's a good story. Here's a happy story. Idaho man becomes the oldest man in the U.S. to earn a law degree. How old do you think he was?
90 years old.
74.
74.
Yeah, I was thinking it would be more than that too, but I guess it says you're only as young as you feel. Couldn't ring more true to the Boise man, Michael Kent Jones. At 74 years young, he's recently graduated from the University of Idaho College of Law. I'm the oldest man to graduate from the law school in all of the United States history. Said he could only find 2 women older than him at the time of graduation. Unlike the 2 women who attended the law school, Unlike the 2 at an older age, Jones actually plans to practice law. That's a little late. I mean, he should be retiring, not. Yeah, he's kind of like me. I should have retired a long time ago, even when I retired. So I don't know, but chances are he'll make money. But oh, by the way, I found a good YouTube channel that I found really interesting. It's guys that have been arrested and charged for things that are unconstitutional. Let me get the name of the place, because this is a really, really good YouTube channel. And what they do is it's a lawyer, and it's him talking about cases that he's gotten that people were in trouble for. And I find that the stuff that he does really, really good. So let me look it up, because I think this is one of my new favorite channels. Oh, by the way, you know about this, but I didn't tell anyone yet. I didn't talk about this yet. My video that I was interviewed for, which is an hour and a half long, was released yesterday. So if you want to see,
who interviewed you?
this was the interview. It was a new show that is just getting some notoriety. It's called The Untitled Podcast, I think is what it's called. And what he does is he said he's had a hard time finding interesting people to talk to because some people don't like to talk when they get interviewed, and that really makes for a bad interview. I can tell you I've had that happen. So it was interesting to see that when we talked, we didn't have any, it was a pretty good show. It pretty much covered everything that. Actually, let me see if I can find it here. I gotta look at my. What do I look at here? Where is it at? Where do we go? Oh, I gotta go to history. That's right. Maybe it was something that was history. Okay. Yeah, there's the Trump impeachment one that I saw. Here it is. The one that I did was the Untitled Podcast, and it's called Classy Mike Trash, The Vital Idol, has the full interview. But the one that I'm talking about that is the one I started listening to is called. Oh, here's the one that I found interesting. That was I just said about the end of Mexico, and what it is it's talking about those people, the drug dealers that are coming via ship now are getting busted all the time. Let me see. Here it is. Here's the new. This one here. This is one of their episodes. I haven't watched it yet, so this is one that I want to watch. But okay, it's called The Civil Rights Lawyer is the name of the account, and this one here says a cop breaks a 64-year-old woman's jaw, and there's $1 million lawsuit on it. All he did was the cop was trying to tell her, look, this is the way it is, and she's like, no, it shouldn't be that way, and she was arguing with him, and he then wanted to put her in handcuffs because she wasn't agreeing with him, and he ended up breaking her jaw. So, but anyway, it's stories like that where people were unjustly arrested because there was a cop that felt he was above the law. And I find this guy, actually I want to subscribe to this. I haven't subscribed to it yet, but this guy has a lot of interesting lawsuits that he does. Here's one that says here, cop slams high school girl at a traffic stop, and her dad, it's just him talking about that. Then there was how cops scammed my client and then took an innocent guy to jail. I mean, these are all weird things that happen on everyday life, and if you don't pay attention, you could be one of those people. So,
That's right.
Apparently there are a lot of cops out there that think they're above the law. So, anyway, so I suggest The Civil Rights Lawyer is the name of the account. It would be interesting if you want to learn more about stuff like that. Then we got 6 men are dead after a helicopter crashes into the Hudson. This might be a couple weeks old. I just never got to it. It's one of those things.
This is a sightseeing helicopter, of which I think there were 3 kids.
It says there were 5 tourists, a family of 5. The victims included Siemens executive Agustin Escobar, his wife Merce Cambrubi, a global manager at an energy technology company, and 3 children. Yeah, that's wow. They didn't go very far either. It says photos. It said here the flight departed downtown heliport around 3 p.m. and lasted less than 18 minutes. And the video of the crash showed parts of the aircraft tumbling through the air into the water near the shoreline of Jersey City, Jersey. So, what do they know about that? Do they know why?
I have not heard. It was a story of the crash, and I've never heard why. Probably the New York Post has done a follow-up, but I don't know. It didn't make national news as far as I know.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about this besides this report here. Let's look and see if there's an update on it. Okay, here's the detail. It says, on April 10th, 2025, a helicopter operated by New York Helicopter Tours plunged into the Hudson River, resulting in the deaths of all 6 people on board. The crash occurred with a Bell 206L4 Long Ranger 4 helicopter that was on a sightseeing tour. The victims include the people I just told you about, as well as the pilot was a former Navy SEAL. Here's a breakdown. The incident: a helicopter carrying a family of 5, and the pilot crashed. Okay, we talked about that. The investigation: the FAA and NTSB are investigating the crash to determine the cause. The company, New York Helicopter Tours, had previously been involved in 2 safety incidents, raising concerns about their safety record. Following the crash, New York Helicopter Tours announced it was shutting down operations. Well,
Yes, I heard that. They folded the business.
Wow. Well, that's probably still not going to keep them from being in trouble.
No, I think they're going to be sued big time.
Well, if they don't have a reason for it, that's the weird part. Let's see. Does it say what the reason is? No, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Well, they're keeping quiet about it. I don't know.
Like I said, probably page 27 of the New York Post has it, but
Yeah. Oh, did you? It says here, Costco customers are practically gagging at diverse hidden cake ingredient. They threw it away. Let's see here. There we go. So Costco shoppers are raising the bar, raisin, as in a raisin, the bar on their dessert ingredients. A debate over whether or not raisins belong in carrot cake is taking place on social media after food influencer reviewed the beloved Costco carrot cake, Costco carrot bar cake. According to the content reviewer, it says the new $19 sweet treat is beautifully baked, but raisins are among its list of ingredients. I don't mind raisins. I mean, a carrot cake would be okay.
I love carrot cake. I like to try it.
Yeah, that doesn't really bother me. It says here, while they gave the cake a good review overall, it said one big downside is that I don't think carrot cake should have raisins in it. The decoration instantly sparked debate in the comment section. Adding raisins to baked goods is proof that villains walk among us. Well, there you go. If you ever wondered if villains walk among us, ask if they added raisins to their baked goods. While people are obsessed with ruining carrot cake with raisins is beyond me. It's like putting olives on a pizza. Really, like raisins, they don't belong in carrot cake, said another hater. I don't understand this hate for raisins. I would say that, that's not I never really thought of raisins as a bad thing. But anyway, some people think, people used to think.
The purists, Michael, they're purists, and they want their carrot cake just with carrots.
But, those are the same people that think that pineapple doesn't belong on pizza.
Oh, pineapple belongs.
Yeah, but it's not tradition. I mean, back when we were kids, when you would not have heard that.
No.
And I used to think it was gross until I tasted it. I thought, oh, okay, that's cool. I don't have a problem with that.
Pineapples are good on pizza.
Yeah, I thought I never would have guessed it until I tasted it. Disabled man kicked off an EasyJet flight, because he couldn't walk to the toilet. That's a problem. Because, I mean, what do you do with someone that can't walk to the toilet? A disabled UK passenger had his self-respect shattered after he was reportedly booted off an EasyJet flight before takeoff because he couldn't walk to the lavatory. I've always been a happy-go-lucky chap, but this has knocked me back a bit. Barry Dobner, 79, told Liverpool Echo, the Brit has been wheelchair-bound, suffering a stroke 18 years ago, hasn't let his physical limitations stop him from traveling. Well, people travel all the time. They're in wheelchairs. What do they do to them?
Yeah, that's a good question. They must have somebody go with them that can wheel them to the bathroom.
Yeah, I don't know. It says let's see, the Brit.
I tell you, in this plane, Iowa's wide enough for a wheelchair.
Well, that I can see. It says the Brit who's been wheelchair bound since suffering a stroke 18 years ago hasn't let his physical limitations stop him from traveling. It's reportedly flown 6 times in this condition. For his latest trip, he planned to fly from Manchester to Athens, Greece on April 3rd so he could celebrate his 80th birthday in the Mediterranean paradise with his wife, Alison Dobner, 67, and his friend, Sheila. I guess, oh, wait a minute, he's a big guy, too.
Oh, he's huge.
Oh, man, that's a problem.
That's a problem.
To prevent any snafus, the group arranged wheelchair-friendly transportation while in Greece, and Barry claims he informed EasyJet he was a wheelchair user when they booked their flight. Despite the precautions, their trip was over before it began. The problems began shortly after boarding when the crew reportedly overheard that the traveler kept a portable urinal in his carry-on luggage. Stewardess walked by and said, "Excuse me, do you have a urinal bottle?" Barry recalled, "My wife said yes in case of emergencies." She said, "Hang on a minute." She came back and said, "Can your husband walk to the toilet?" When Allison replied that he could not, the flight attendant said, "You have to get off the plane." My wife asked why, and they said because he can't walk to the toilet. The whole group was subsequently ejected from the aircraft, at which they picked up from the airport by a friend and driven home. Oh, man. The whole plane was standing and up and watching what was going on. You can imagine how it made me feel. They knew I couldn't walk when they put me on the plane. He added that the incident led him feeling like an object, explaining, "I'm not a person anymore. My self-respect has gone down." What's your thought on this?
My thoughts are, I would let him pee in the urinal.
Yeah, so would I. I mean, you could put a blanket.
As much privacy as possible and allow it to happen.
Well, there are blankets,
That's right.
or someone could hold the blanket up, or whatever it is. To me, that
smell though. See, it would smell, and that would be the problem.
right. But it's only a few seconds of a smell. It's not like it's going to be an hour or anything. I just think
I personally be understanding of it, and not everybody is like that.
Yeah. I just think it's really strange that.
I bet you he has a lawsuit.
Yeah, he does. Well, he's not in the United States, though, so he's probably not going to have as much of a chance to win because he probably doesn't have the lawyer that I just gave his information on YouTube. He should probably contact him. I don't know. I just think it's sad that we can't be able to take care of people like that. That wouldn't have cost anybody anything. It wouldn't have been convenient for anyone. There's, now if you had to take a crap, that would be a problem that you couldn't deal with. But I don't know. I think that they were just being a little picky about that. Let's see what the next one is here. Arizona prisoner serving 16 life sentences. He's accused of killing 3 fellow inmates. Well, what are you going to do with him? Unless you're going to give him the death sentence to kill him now, there's not a whole lot you can do with him. Put him in solitary. Yeah, I mean, you're going to leave him in solitary for 16 life sentences. Someone like that should have probably never been given 16 life sentences. He probably should have been put to death. Or, depending what the circumstances were, if they attacked him or something, let's find out. An Arizona prisoner serving 16 life sentences killed 3 other inmates at a state prison in Tucson. Ricky Wassenaar is accused of killing Saul Alvarez, Thorne Harnage, and Donald Lashley during an altercation on Friday. Wait a minute, there's an altercation. Now, who started the altercation? Wassenaar is the only suspect in the incident. Police officials say he acted with intent to harm. Now, if he caused it, that's anyway. Well, that guy doesn't even look scary. Alvarez was behind bars for murder. Oh, of course he was for murder. Was convicted in the county of sexual conduct with a minor, and Lashley was serving a sentence for child molestation. Okay, let's just kill him.
He went after because
I think that kind of person.
Because a murderer, there's a lower form of life than a murderer, and that's a child molester.
Yes, I agree. Was already serving 16 life sentences for his role in a prison standoff in 2004. He already had a criminal record before the standoff. He and another man were convicted of taking 2 security guards hostage. See, this person doesn't deserve to live because he's just a troublemaker from day one. See, that's what happens when we're too nice to people. When we're saying, okay, we're going to let you live, but you're going to be living in a situation like that. It was one of the longest prison hostage situations in history. Wassenaar allegedly used a kitchen guard's uniform to trick another guard into letting him into a prison watchtower. He obtained the uniform by overpowering an officer with a handmade weapon. This guy's nothing but trouble.
He's nothing but trouble.
Yeah, we should just kill him. Just kill him.
Yeah.
Save us all some tax dollars and yeah, there's no reason to keep a guy like that around. These people, they're never gonna. It's not like they're gonna reform, and especially in a prison. Now you worked in prisons, so you've seen just the opposite, right?
I've seen some people who you would never think would reform, but it is rare. It's rare.
Yeah, I would imagine so.
Everybody's sorry in prison.
Oh yeah.
Sorry they got caught.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's the thing. I mean, geez, this guy. I felt sorry for him for a second, till I realized that he was the instigator, and he was a constant problem with this. They shouldn't give that many chances. If they're, if you're holding guards at bay with a homemade weapon, that's enough to tell me right there, you're instigating the problem. If he made a weapon because he's afraid somebody was going to come after him, that's a different thing. But he went after other people. Okay, this one here, 15-year-old boy kills grandmother, stabs mom in Long Island home after a fight about content on the teen's computer. Again, this is a kid, and he's, he doesn't get his way, so he stabs his grandmother, or he kills his grandmother, stabs his mom. I think we got some serious issues there.
Yes.
We keep giving these kids a second, third, fourth, fifth, 10th chance, and all they do is just get in trouble. It was a 15-year-old killed his grandmother and stabbed his mother in their Long Island home after an argument erupted over content that was discovered on the teen's computer. The mother's 36-year-old Vanessa fled the horror scene after her son had repeatedly stabbed her with a knife following a confrontation about the teen's computer. It's not clear what led to the gruesome attack. The knifed mom flagged down a driver passing by and called 911, and a Good Samaritan stopped and let her in the vehicle, according to the police report. When the cops arrived at the residence, they found the teen's grandmother, 56-year-old, with multiple stab wounds. Multiple stab wounds. I mean, she's pronounced dead at the scene. Okay, so he killed someone. Now because he's 16, he probably gets off. You know?
18 is probably good.
Right, and that should not be. Anytime that anybody that has that much going on at that point of their life, they need to be put away. That was just, she was a great woman, worked hard, worked 2 jobs. I'd catch her in between and say, hey, how are you doing? How's work? She'd say, it's killing me. Well, it's not, doesn't sound like that was killing him. That's a shame. Oh, that's why I didn't have kids. Oh, man. This was South Carolina's highest court denies appeal to stay for an upcoming firing squad execution for a cop killer. And here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Come on. Oh, okay, I didn't go up high enough. Supreme Court refused an appeal made in an attempt to block the firing squad execution for a man who ambushed and killed an off-duty police officer. Personally, if you kill an off-duty police officer, your life's over. There's no reason. Why would we keep alive? You know, you're not going to help our society in any way. We don't need you.
Reformed or not?
Oh, how reformed can you be?
Well, I mean, even if you become sorry and repentant,
I guess.
accept Christ as Savior, still.
I don't know. I just think that we're too easy of a country. I mean, other countries would have killed him and not even put him in jail. Then we have a 35-year-old. Let's see here. 35-year-old Texas man arrested for allegedly causing 65-year-old girlfriend's third-degree burns for talking too much. That would be just about every woman I know. Oops. I mean, except Christine. Except for Christine. Christine never talks too much. A 35-year-old Texas man was arrested for allegedly pouring scalding hot soup on a 65-year-old. Now, first off, he's 35.
And he has a 65-year-old.
So you know that he's probably using her for everything. 65-year-old girlfriend causing third-degree burns because she was talking too much. Alexander McDavid, what are you doing? I got my dog down here. He broke in. Of Waco was slammed with a slew of charges, including resisting arrest, transportation, including resisting arrest or transportation, terroristic threat of family or household members, assaulting with bodily injury, continuous violence against the family, and injury to an elderly person, his own senior age girlfriend. And tells you he was there just for her because she bought things for him and kept him out of trouble. Oh, look at his tattoo. He's got a neck tattoo right there. I would have thrown him in jail just for the neck tattoo. It's a bad tattoo.
It's a bad tattoo.
He went into a blind rage and attacked his girlfriend, who's 30 years his senior, at their apartment after claiming she was being too chatty. Oh, boy. He allegedly struck her with a plate of piping hot fresh soup out of the microwave, causing third-degree burns to her right shoulder and forearm. See, this kind of guy, he's trouble. You know that there's, if
There's mental,
first off,
to
he's
be charitable, there's mental health issues.
yeah. When you're going out with a girl that's half your age, and not that that's a problem, because there are people that do like older people. Because I liked older women. My first wife was 14 years older than me, but this is just, he's obviously using her. Let's see here. It says, say where are we at here? The victim couldn't immediately seek help because she didn't have access to a car or a cell phone. She couldn't report the abuse until she encountered police days later. What the world? No. The dog. She told police that the couple lived together and were steady for about a year until McDavid started to be physically abusive. She claimed he choked her in the past, but she never reported to the police. McDavid was previously convicted of family violence assault in 2017 and again in 2021. He was booked into the county jail with a $130,000 bond, which is what, $13,000 to get out.
He doesn't have 13,000.
She's probably,
and he doesn't know anybody with 13,000.
well, she probably is dumb enough to get him out, though. There's certain women that, oh, he didn't mean it. It was an accident. There's certain women that will do anything to keep their guy out of jail because they don't realize they're being used.
Guy got one shoulder.
Yeah.
The guy comes knocking at the door. I'm sorry, I'll never do it again. I won't listen back with him. Then a week later, she's back at the shoulder, and he comes back again and says, honey, I'll never do it again. And she leaves for the third time.
Yeah. It's so stupid.
Any man is better than no man. That's
right. Yeah, that's the problem is, at one point I used to believe that any woman was better than no woman too. But Lisa cured me of that. At that point I said, nope, not anymore. I'm never going to date again. That's forever. And forever lasted me 6 months. All right. Then we got Oakland Mayor's Chief of Staff fired after referring to black people as tokens in a resurfaced note. Oh, man. This is 2025. I just can't believe there are people that are still idiots like this. A high-ranking city official in Oakland, California had been fired over a resurfaced note that showed her referring to black people as tokens. Chief of Staff Lee Hansen was fired Sunday after an alleged note. I can't read now that this popped up. Stop it. Okay. Where was that? Over an alleged note that was released last week alongside other documents related to an FBI probe that prompted the indictment of the city's previous mayor, Chang Tho, or something like that. Hansen was hired by Tho as her chief of staff in 2023 and penned the note as part of her then boss's doomed bid to fight being recalled. One note read, CM Fife can reach out to NAACP, use boyfriend as tokens.
Yeah, that's BP, black people.
Oh, black, is that what that is? Okay.
Yes.
Oh, okay, got it. Black people. Yeah. Jeez. These people are just insane.
They're idiots.
Why
would you put that down when anybody could read it?
Right.
Even if you think it, why would you write it?
Well, no, we want them to put it down. We want them to get caught.
That's true.
You write as much of that stuff down as you want because, you should be caught. It just is crazy. Here we go. Do you remember Ryan Wesley Ralph?
No.
Okay. Accused would-be Trump assassin Ryan Wesley Ralph tried to buy a rocket launcher from Ukraine. What is wrong with these people? That's a wacko. Here he is. Yep, that's the wacko guy. He's the guy that was outside the golf place, wasn't he? Yeah, I thought so. Just, if you don't like the president, just don't vote for him next time. You probably voted for him because he's naked. Anyway, it says here he tried to buy a rocket launcher from the UK just weeks before he was arrested, allegedly for attempting to gun the president down. The 58-year-old accused would-be assassin would try to make a purchase from someone he believed to be Ukrainian with access to a haul of military-grade weapons. In one exchange, which unfolded via an encrypted message app, Ralph allegedly asked the associate to send me an RPG. Winger, I would like to see what we can do. Trump is not good for the Ukraine, is what he said. Once it's an idiot, Ralph later inquired about the price and whether the person could ship it to me. Can you imagine getting a UPS for a rocket launcher? I need equipment so Trump cannot get elected, he said. At one point, Ralph allegedly acknowledged he could just go to the store. He couldn't just go to the store to buy a rocket launcher. Okay, going to the local store for such an item is impossible. However, you were at war, so those items lost and destroyed daily. One missing would not be noticed, he said. He later sent the apparent associate a photo of Trump's plane writing, "He gets on and off daily." Prosecutors allege the messages are proof Ralph planned to kill Trump. Ralph was arrested by the Secret Service, spotted the muzzle of his SKS semi-automatic rifle sticking through the shrubbery at the Trump International Gun Club in West Palm Beach on September 15th, authorities said. He dropped his rifle and fled to an SUV before he could take a shot, leaving behind the firearm and 2 backpacks and a GoPro camera, of course. He was stopped and nabbed some 40 minutes later on Interstate 95. Where the feds searched his car, they found a trove of evidence, including notes about how to join the war on behalf of the Ukraine. Jeez. Ralph's attorneys are currently fighting to have certain evidence, including eyewitness account, barred from his upcoming trial. I swear, I just can't even imagine. I can't even imagine, what your defense could be.
Insanity. What else would it be?
I don't know, but that's another guy that probably should be put up for quite a while, if not forever. Oh, man. See, now, I don't have a problem with people that oppose Trump. I have a problem with people who oppose Trump and try to kill him. There's no reason to try to kill him. There's nothing. Personally, I value my freedom. There's nothing I'm going to do that's going to put me in jeopardy of going away.
Well, how about former FBI Director Comey finding 8647 seashells on the, you heard of that? Comey, the old Trump filer, he's a mess. He's not right.
Okay.
But anyhow, he found seashells that said 8647. You know what 86 stands for?
No.
I'm going to 86 you.
I mean, I know what the, I know what 86, but I don't know what 47 is. Oh, the 47th president?
President of the United States.
Oh, jeez.
He's 45 and 47.
Jeez.
So, 8647, well, he's been investigated for wanting to assassinate President Trump.
Huh. Jeez.
People are dumb, man. They're just dumb.
Jeez. Okay, I got one last one, and we'll we'll end this one on this one. Missing toddler found alive in the freezing cold. This is not a new one. This is one I've kept because I thought it was a good one. Found alive in the freezing cold, curled up in a ditch by heat-seeking. So this is back in April. It says April 8th, so it's a month and a half old. A missing 2-year-old boy was wearing nothing but a diaper, was discovered curled up in a ditch in a frigid Michigan woods. Come on, get rid of it. Stuff. Okay. And they found him with a police chopper equipped with a heat-seeking camera. And police copters found the boy around 11:30 p.m. Sunday, about 3 hours after he'd gone missing. A 3-year-old, or no, 2-year-old, a 2-year-old boy. Man, he is. I don't know how he lived through that in that cold weather, but fortunately they found him with the heat-seeking. Uncertain if the heat signal was the missing child or an animal, officers were seen in the infrared footage following lights being flashed by the chopper, directing them to the figure in the darkness. Several officers could be seen comforting the child, who was not publicly identified, as they waited for an ambulance to arrive. There's a good, happy ending.
Yes.
Good one to end on. So, yeah. But how do you lose your child?
I don't know.
It's not like he can get up and run away. He's not moving very fast. So, I don't know. Anyway, well,
Good show.
anything else you want to talk about? Are you good?
I think we ended on a good note.
I think that was a good way to end, too. It's nice to end on something that a better one than those guys that were trying to kill people. Yeah. So, all right. Well, I guess as soon as this comes up here. Oh, there we go. There's the button. I'll see you guys next week, and have a good week.